You're late to work, who gives a fuck? It's your life, bitch! Fuck you, boss, I'm late! I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late! What you gonna be doing about it? I said I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late! You gonna fire me? There's no one else here, bitch! Late! I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late! You gonna fire me? That's cute! Late, 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 late! Ah.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. It's not like,
man. Thank goodness.
What's up, people? Welcome to the HEX Late Show. It's 43 OG here with you on a Tuesday evening. I'm late. What are you going to be doing about it?
You're late to work, who gives a fuck? It's your life, bitch! Fuck you, boss, I'm late! I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late! What you gonna be doing about it? I said I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late! You gonna fire me? There's no one else here, bitch! Late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late! You gonna fire me? That's cute! Late, 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 late! Ah.
Okay, I'm back. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. What's going on, people? Who's here? Who's here tonight? Hex Enthusiast. What's up, brother? Red Squirrel, Ash. Hi Ho Hex. Hi Ho Hex. It's like a new name. Have I heard that before? Have you been here for long? Hi Ho Hex. Steve Mc 1966. Crypto Class. I killed Epstein. Archie S. Sammy Chica. What's up, Sammy? I thought you were coming on, Sammy. Oh, you are coming in soon. So what's going on, guys and girls? I actually messed up big time because I left my laptop recharger at work, and this laptop is like 9 years old. It's like my awesome at the time, shitty now laptop, which still has 64 gig of RAM in it and is on 64% battery after about 15 minutes having it on. So this laptop is, I've got a workaround though. So, you know, no need to worry. We've got, I've got a couple of video clips. I've got like a backup, like even crappier PC next to me, which should help me once this one dies, which should be happening shortly. Yo, Hex Tangent,
Yo.
what's going on?
One sec. I've just got to shut this double up.
And while we're organizing stuff, let me get rid of this
Otherwise, I was hearing it
this
echo.
background.
So that should be all good now.
What's going on, dude?
Not much. Other than Kraken getting sued again, which is pretty crazy since they already paid a fine. I think that's really the only thing.
What for this time?
Oh, you didn't hear about this? So the SEC.
No, I saw
sued
it
them again. Like,
but I didn't look
for a
into
bunch
it.
of things. They're claiming like commingling customer funds and like just the standard fake accusation bullshit. Like it's just. But you would think that if you've paid like a $10,000,000 fine, that's sort of like should be it. That it's like, okay, you get one shot at making, like, as in it's almost like you get cleared for prior stuff that you might have done wrong in the startup of your business. Like, so, like they should only really be able to bring the accusations once. Otherwise, how many times are they able to just come back with new, made up, fabricated accusations? It's just never ending. It's theoretically never ending.
Forever. It's forever, dude. They can do it forever.
So yeah, I hope that I assume that Kraken will just go hard this time and just be like, nah, dude, like that's not cool. Not cool, dude.
What the US is going to do, and what all these countries are going to do eventually, is just push these companies elsewhere.
Yeah.
They're going to go elsewhere. It's as simple as that. If you can't do business in the US or Australia or Canada or New Zealand or the UK or any of these, you know, great Western countries, I'll say, you know, I'm holding up my fingers on each side of my head doing the, you know, quotation marks, but
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if they can't be a home for these companies without just constantly trying to screw them over, then they're just going to go elsewhere. And you know,
it'll be like when Rumble offered Rogan millions and millions of dollars to go on their platform. There'll be countries that'll just be like, wait, we can just house some of the best and most respected centralized exchanges that exist, and all we have to do is just promise them that we're not going to F them around. And
like Argentina, maybe like Argentina. You don't think a company like El Salvador and Argentina would love to have like digital currency banks, you know, which is what the exchanges are basically banks in their countries?
But it has to be somewhere that you can still serve the populations that you want to be able to serve. So can it just be any country? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm sure they've been looking into it, though, right? Like they would have looked at these options by now after what happened that first time.
Who knows? I mean, bro, these options have only started to exist in recent history.
Yeah,
like Argentina, that option only started like 3 days ago or 2 days ago when that guy looks like a crazy, like, talk about loon birds. Have you seen that guy? I
actually saw a tweet by was it Layla or was it Wendio? I can't remember, but it was effectively a screenshot. I don't know if it's real or not, from the WEF website, or it might have been the WHO, but regardless, one of those 3-letter organizations that they claim all the leaders effectively are bred from. So if that's real, then that's not good. Like, you see what I'm saying?
I'm not sure. I mean, look, everything these days, everything is like conspiracy all the way through. And I don't know, but the guy has been very straightforward that he doesn't like the woke shit.
Yeah.
He's not down with any of that.
I guess even if you have,
he's pro Bitcoin. He's pro Bitcoin.
You know what?
And
even if you've got controlled opposition, they still have to speak some elements of truth to trick the people that, like, theoretically, if they're trying to trick us into thinking that they are on our side when they're really not, which would be the conspiracy theory, they still have to speak truth that some people are going to hear and some people are going to believe, and then they're going to join our team. So I guess it's a win either way.
If this guy took the class, the I hate left wokeism class, he passed it with like high distinctions, because when he speaks, I don't understand. Like, do they speak Spanish in Argentina?
Like that, yeah.
I think they speak. Yeah. So when he speaks, I don't understand what he's saying, but I can tell he's seething hatred for left wokeism. Is like, either this guy is an excellent actor.
Woke shit is the worst. It's like they never have a logical flow. It's something that annoys the absolute shit out of me. They can't.
So this guy hates
the logical
it
argument
so much that I can understand it in a different language. How much he hates. Like, I can understand him clearly. It's like, yes, dude, I get you. How much you
body
hate
language
these
and the
people.
tone.
I
Yeah,
get it. Just the way, like, he's talking with, and it's spittling. Like, that's how upset he is when he's talking about this stuff. It's it's quite
some
entertaining.
people would claim that there are people that are very, very, very good at acting, right? And can, like, every actor you've ever seen in a movie is able to convince you that they are a certain character or they feel a certain way when they don't. So I think more important than that, because, like, another example is, like, Russell Brand gets accused of being controlled opposition, but the things that he's saying are going to wake people up. Well, it's because he's an ex-celebrity and he's got, like, tattoos that look like Illuminati shit, I think. But I don't think by the way, cool. I absolutely do not think he's controlled opposition. But if he is, he's waking people up with the truth. So it's like, how much rope, like, how much leash do you give controlled opposition before they're actually doing damage to your cause?
Dude, I think, look, they do they have 180%. RGS is saying they've got 180% inflation, though. 180% inflation, bro. That's insane.
Well, it would be difficult to, even in crypto, to keep up. Like, your crypto assets would struggle to keep up with that. Sorry, if
that's a 3x every year. I'm assuming that's annually.
So what I just said was technically incorrect. For them locally in their currency, the crypto assets wouldn't have a problem because obviously the crypto is priced in US, so you would be protected from that inflation. But what I really meant is, if you had that level of inflation and you were looking at crypto's gains relative to that level of inflation, some cryptos don't even go up by that much. So it's pretty fucked. That's fast.
Because this computer is going to run out of battery. I'm going to play some videos early on, just so that I can get them, like, and then we can.
What happens if your thing runs out of battery? Does it kill it? Does it just?
I've got another computer. It just doesn't have any videos on them.
Do it.
What's the future, really the near term and the longer term future that you envision for Bitcoin?
Oh, yeah, I've seen this.
Oh my gosh. This thing's going to hundreds of thousands of dollars per coin, Charles. I mean, the US government is in so much debt. The way I think about Bitcoin's price equals technology plus fiat liquidity. So it's going to go up because it's innovative tech and it's better money. But what really shoots it up at a neck-breaking pace is when our government is tens of trillions of dollars in debt and has to roll that debt over. So they got a lot of money to print, and financial assets are going to soar. And Bitcoin goes up the most because it's the hardest to make more of. It's over, man. This thing's going to the moon.
You know, so interesting, too, because it's not just the U.S. I was just reading today, globally, these countries, these advanced nations, and all this fiat currency are going to have to spend $2 trillion on the interest alone, and they won't stop spending, Jack. They just won't stop spending money, and it's coming back to haunt them, and it's coming back to maybe people realizing fiat currency is not the place to be, huh?
Charles, this would be my message to America. Give me a second on this one. Guys, the U.S. government's got about $10 trillion over the next 2 years to roll over, refinance. That's debt. Our country's in debt. It's a huge problem. They got 3 options. 1, they could pay it back. It's not a real option because we don't got the money. We're broke. 2, our government could come out, Charles, and say, you know what, guys, we screwed up. After World War II, we changed the way money worked. We got off the gold standard. We issued debt all over the place. We got way too cocky. And actually, all of our banks don't have your money. They're insolvent. All the airlines you fly and travel on aren't actually good businesses that should be in business. Healthcare shouldn't actually be free. We screwed up. We piled on so much debt and screwed up the younger generation, and we're in huge trouble. So we're going to have to let everything fail and reset this country. Now, they're not going to do that, are they, Charles? They have a third option, which is unique to the government. They could print the money that they're missing. And when they print the money that they're missing, they're stealing from all the people that hold US dollars. And so what they'll do, they'll have to do is print dollars. And the only way to save yourself is own not dollars. And that's when you see things like the S&P 500 and gold and Bitcoin soar. And so that's what's going to happen over the next 2 years. They got to print 3 times more than they did during COVID.
I love your enthusiasm, Jack. We're going to bring you back. We really do love your enthusiasm and your message. Thanks a lot for sharing it with us. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, honey.
All right, buddy.
There was actually one thing in there that I disagreed with him on, but I forgot what it was already.
Bitcoin's going to the moon.
No, that's definitely happening. Sue me. No, there was something that he said. That wasn't accurate. What was it? Shit. Do you know what? I might just replay it while you play another video or whatever. I might just replay it for myself and find that point because it was quite important. It's just because he was going on for so long. Anyway, I've got a question about that video for you, actually. Do you think that they were cutting him off because there was like an ad break that they had to time correctly? Or do you think they were trying to cut him off because he was speaking too much truth, like too much like obvious anti-US dollar rhetoric?
Good question. I just assumed it was like there was a slot, there was a 2-minute slot, and they
it sounded like an ad break thing.
And also he got as much in that 2 minutes. He got as much bullish crypto shit that you could possibly get in a 2 minute
I find it
slot.
interesting that everyone's just thrown out the not financial advice. Like I started doing it where I don't say it anymore. I just say sue me instead. But I've noticed that quite a few big names have also started doing it now, where they've given up with this whole like pussyfooting around trying to promote the assets that they like without saying stuff that could be construed as fun. They're just like, fuck it, this is going to the moon, bro. Like, and I think it's good. I think we need to get back. I think I care about free speech. I want people to be able to say shit without it having like legal implications, you know?
Yep. I mean, look, we're not in the right country to be fighting that fight, to be honest, because we are not set up like the US. US is the best place to fight that fight.
Oh, I found the exact spot. Sorry, I couldn't hear you just then because I was watching the video. But the thing is, when he said healthcare shouldn't be free, that's incorrect. So remember when we decided, or I parroted Richard and you agreed, I believe, socialism for needs, capitalism for wants. That's the king here. So healthcare should actually be subsidized and along with anything else that is like necessary,
subsidized by taxpayers. Let's not say free. Let's say subsidized by taxpayers.
Yes.
Because you know that is. I think that's like when we say that, it is imprecise because nothing's free. Those people who when you go to the hospital, everyone there's getting paid, and that money's coming from taxpayers.
Resources should be reallocated in a way such that there is no cost at the time of receiving health services to the individual, and is the play for society and all other necessary survival things. I agree with Richard. I think he's solved the dilemma between capitalism and socialism. That's the perfect balance, in my opinion.
There's a couple of people in the chat who are just talking about the healthcare stuff, and look, I'll give you my perspective. I think that if doctors I think if we were like taught nutrition, like and taught how to look after ourselves, and we had like real regimes in our schools where we were doing physical activity and things like this, we wouldn't have as much obesity, wouldn't have as many unhealthy people. And I think if more focus was put onto that, we'd probably need to spend less on healthcare.
We should reel this in because we're literally talking about healthcare rather than crypto. But
Yes,
point taken. Yes. Taken. And I agree with what you're saying.
So, speaking of so getting back to these clips that I've got.
Oh yeah.
I've got a clip from a presidential candidate in the US who has just released his crypto policy. Now, why this is of relevance is because no candidate has really gone into as much depth as this guy, right? Okay. So this guy is actually like the first, and he's a young dude. I think he's 38.
Is this like proof of knowledge? Like he's actually demonstrating his knowledge of crypto and Bitcoin through demonstrating that he's able to like articulate the important details rather than these other politicians that have been accused of just parroting like crypto cliches.
Yes. Yep. I would say that this is the first guy I've heard who has looked into it and knows what's up.
Or just paid an advisor to like gear him up.
Listen, maybe, but he sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Okay.
He sounds confident.
Crypto framework is out. I got to ask you, if you become president of the United States, what changes from a crypto perspective?
I think what changes is that regulation by enforcement ends. What does that mean? That the rules are delineated clearly in advance rather than you having to wait for an enforcement action for the SEC to figure out whether or not a given coin was a security or not, that Gary Gensler refuses to say today, for example, about Ethereum. What also changes is that any unconstitutional regulation, not just as it affects crypto, this is part of a broader administrative state reform for me, but any regulation that Congress did not expressly give an agency the power to pass is null and void. Nice. It turns out that applies to most regulations governing the crypto industry. And I put these into three categories for the areas of reform that I've laid out. One is the freedom to code. It's my view that code is speech. And while it's perfectly appropriate for the government to go after bad actors, if you take the Tornado Cash example, going upstream for the actual developers of the code, that's wrong. You got to draw the distinction between the code itself, which is protected, versus people who misuse it to steal. That's something that's not happening today. That's freedom of speech is principle number one. It's the freedom to code. Principle number two is financial self-reliance. I'll give you the punchline here. There's a lot that's behind it. I mean, the AML statutes, the Know Your Customer stuff, a lot of this, the Bank Secrecy Act has been weaponized. But the punchline is self-hosted wallets should not be touched. I mean, that's part of the Jacksonian vision of financial self-reliance and independence. We can't have a regulatory apparatus that effectively creates self-hosted wallets and prevents them from actually being able to exist. So that's point number two. And then point number three is just the freedom to innovate. And I say this as somebody who comes from multiple different regulated industries in the past. The wet blanket on American innovation isn't even Congress. It's the regulatory state that's making up its own rules, regardless of the laws that actually exist in this country. And so we'll rescind all of those unconstitutional federal regulations. We'll downsize the federal employee headcount by 75%, which I think is a good thing. A lot of these toxic regulation and enforcement action come from the fact that if you have a bunch of people showing up to work who shouldn't have had that job in the first place, they find things to do. We'll put an end to that. And the good news about all of this is these are things I can get done as the U.S. president without asking Congress for permission or for forgiveness, because this relates to the executive branch of the government.
Yeah, I've seen this dude. Like, I saw this dude. He's like some super rich dude that decided to run for president.
Yeah, yeah. So I
agree with what he's saying.
Have you heard any other politician? Look. Let's just put something on the table here.
Oh, all his stuff is legit.
I'm not like, no. In my opinion, like every politician, like there's no politician that's going to fulfill all your needs or wants. Like that, you shouldn't have that approach.
Well,
to
there's
it.
no human that does that ever. Like, as in, this is something important I heard recently. Someone said it. I agree with it. You need to be able to say, I agree with this person, whether they're a politician or not. You need to be able to say, I agree with this person on this point, but I don't agree with them on this point. And that's okay. Like, you don't need someone to be literally 100% of what you want, or you also don't need to have that. If you say, hey, I like this politician's stance on Bitcoin, that you're immediately green lighting a full support of everything they do. So like when people say, oh, I like if a Bitcoiner says, I like El Salvador guy, I forget his name, whatever, the El Salvador president, I like his stance on Bitcoin. And then people are like, oh, but he like did some shit where he like arrested people without due process or whatever. It's like, yeah, well, I didn't comment on that, did I? I just said I like his stance on Bitcoin. Yeah. Separate the art from the artist. Like, Yeah, and so in this particular case, I think people need to get comfortable with that. People need to get comfortable with being able to separate those things and say, I like this opinion, I don't. And people need to, and I think Zuby summed it up the best very recently. Within the last couple of days, he tweeted saying, and I retweeted him, he said, there are about 10 politicians or less around the entire globe that I actually like. And I agree with that. There's probably somewhere sub 10 is like the number of like politicians where I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. That's
a lot more than I like. But anyway,
really?
Dude.
What about you've got that Rand Paul. The Paul, like him and his the dad and the son.
I don't like
are like very like libertarian.
They've got a hard job. I'll give them that. They've got a tough job. They're trying to appeal to the masses. But the thing that I don't like about a lot of them is that they are only trying to appeal to popular opinion rather than what's best.
Is Bitcoin popular enough yet for them? I guess it's getting there.
No, but that's my point. They're just trying to. No, but I think he probably knows the numbers, man, and he's probably sitting back. I think it also ties in with his philosophy, though.
Actually,
what he's talking about. I don't think he's just trying to tick boxes. There's probably a lot of people who have dabbled with crypto, but whether or not,
I just realized that it doesn't even matter. They don't even need to care whether someone is actually pro crypto. They only have to care that people are against the existing system. Is what, and then you can go on a Bitcoin platform and you get all the crypto bros, and you also get everyone that's just pissed off and wants change.
Yep. I've got another clip here from.
Sammy's here.
Oh, hey, Sammy.
Hey, Sammy.
Hey, what's up? I've been listening, guys.
I heard the little bleep sound. Oh, wait, have you been waiting?
No, I've just been listening while I've been getting ready. I have to have a shower and stuff. Hey, everybody.
How are you, Sammy?
I'm good. How's everybody? All right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we're good. We're just about to listen to. I'm going through all the clips really quickly because this laptop has to go off in about 15 minutes.
Sweet.
So let me just play this one here. This is a clip of Elon Musk just commenting on the SEC.
A big trial in San Francisco, big civil trial. And the jury found me not guilty. Unanimous finding of a San Francisco jury.
And here it's kind of implying that it was not in fact secured.
I think this is taking things from the press. Yeah, that is not correct. The reason I agreed to the fine for the SEC is not because the SEC was correct. That was extremely bad behavior by the SEC, corruption, frankly. But if I did not agree to pay the fine, Tesla would have gone bankrupt immediately. So I was told by our CFO that the banks would immediately suspend our lines of credit. And if they suspended our lines of credit at that time, we would have gone bankrupt instantly. So there would never have been an opportunity for a trial because Tesla would be dead. So really, if this is like someone holding a gun to your kid's head and saying, pay $20 million and admit to, there's like a hostage negotiation.
Was that story fully told? I mean, SEC in its best form could be a force for good.
It should be. But not once did the SEC go after any of the hedge funds who were nonstop shorting and distorting Tesla. Not once. They would lie flat. The hedge funds would lie flat out on TV for their own gain at the expense of retail investors. Not once, literally 1,000 times. Not once did the SEC pursue them.
How do you explain this failure? In
the incentive structure is messed up because the lawyers at the SEC are not paid well. It's a fairly low-paying job, but what they're looking for is a trophy from the SEC. They're looking for something they put on basically their LinkedIn.
Yeah.
From that, they can get a job at a high-paying law firm. That's exactly what the lawyer here did. And the reason they don't attack the hedge funds is because those hedge funds employ those law firms, and they know if they attack the hedge funds, they're affecting their future career prospects. So they sell small investors down the river for their own career. That's what actually happens. Regulatory capture.
Regulatory capture.
Yeah, not good. So the only reason I accepted that thing technically was not an admission. It's neither admit nor deny guilt. But the only reason I agreed to that at all was because I was told Tesla would be bankrupt otherwise. So if there was an SEC investigation like this, banks would suspend funding. We're bankrupt immediately at the time. Mm-hmm. Now we're in a much stronger position.
Wow. Corporate bullying. It's such a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen that. I saw that video. I think you might have been the one that sent it to me, Day 43. And it's like, it's awesome to have someone like Elon out there highlighting exactly what we all know to be true, but saying it in a way with exact examples and exact details and coming from someone that's well respected, like reasonably well, except for the trolls and haters. And with strong statements like that their behavior amounts to corruption. Like that's not a light statement.
I mean, even you could say exactly the same thing about the presidential candidates' comments. They are and these two things have happened in the last week or two, and they're both speaking directly to issues that we mess with on a daily basis. We think about all the time. We talk about it all the time, and you've got these two high-profile people in the US and around the world, I guess, talking about them. So that's going to be good for awareness of issues relating to crypto or relating to DeFi, because what Elon Musk was saying, even though it doesn't relate to DeFi, it shines a light on the SEC. And if you look at the SEC, they're just going hammer and fist over, they're just trying to bring crypto down. And it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it seems to me in Australia, our beloved ATO seems to be doing a little bit of regulation by enforcement as well.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Have you guys? Do you guys? We did chat about that in our private chat, but we don't necessarily need to go into it here because I know how much people love us talking about tax on this show. But so interesting.
What the government are going after Binance, saying they'll drop the criminal charges if they pay a $4 billion fine. That's a freaking hefty fine, $4 billion. Well, they just dropped criminal charges like that.
They can afford it.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm just going to switch computers. So I'm going to duck out and I'll be back very soon.
Yeah,
Sure. No stress.
But it's almost like they're siphoning the money where they can out of crypto, like with all the, the new securities, that came out today and Kraken and everything. It's like they're just trying to siphon as much as they can get out of crypto when they want. And I have been listening to what you guys are talking about, and I heard Vivek. Vivek made that was a freaking awesome statement that he made. That was amazing. And even that guy on the Bitcoin show. Really strong characters are coming out in crypto and for crypto, which is really good because we need that now.
Oh yeah. So you saw the thing which 43 hadn't seen. I guess it's very recent. The Kraken one. I mean, I feel for them. But I'm glad that now there are well-funded network participants that are able to actually take up this fight.
But why isn't anyone taking class action? I mean, even Elon Musk has admitted he doesn't like the SEC. And now all the big guys in crypto, the Coinbase, the Binance, the Krakens, why don't they do a case?
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Because they're all basically got the same
to team up and to team up, so it could be a class action of companies rather than individuals.
Yeah,
they just all go mega hard. Even Richard Hart could get in on that, and then they could just go absolutely ham. And you know what? That might be an interesting way to bring the crypto communities together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because imagine if we were all on the same team in a legal battle, I think maybe the tribalism walls and boundaries would maybe fade a little bit.
I absolutely agree with that. And I mean, we've seen what Ripple went through with all this stuff, but the thing we've got to remember here is that we can win. And we've got the power to win, and Ripple has shown the way to everyone in crypto how to win.
We've got the truth on our side. Like we've got the moral and ethical high ground. It's
absolutely,
so it makes it easier to present a case when your shit is legit. So rather than, you know what I mean? You can point to all, you can just lay out the whole story, and every one of these companies would be able to go up as a witness and say from their experience, the frustrations that they've had, all of the malicious bullying, everything. It would just be absolutely, it would just be absolutely epic.
Yeah,
it'd be one for the history books.
It'd be amazing.
All the ETF application companies that have been getting screwed around could jump in on that shit. Every company and individual that's ever been targeted that's not a scammer, like the ones that are legit. And in fact, I guess some of the scammers could jump in on that class action from the perspective of, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to clear their name and prove that they didn't do anything wrong, but effectively showing that they were operating, within an environment that was deliberately curated to be unethical. So
well, they'd have the guy in the world on their side. It's corporate bullying at its finest. And
could actually jump in, hey, because it's not just this is not just about crypto. It would be just everything that agency does that just is not fair and not just.
Yeah. And the thing is, they're getting away with it in the public eye. Everyone knows what they're doing is wrong and corrupt, yet they can't be stopped. Or, I mean, look at Ripple. We can win, but they just keep coming at us, just one thing after another. But did you know on the petition, the Pulse petition, we've got over 22,000 signatures on that thing?
I saw you said that in the chat. It's crazy.
That's amazing. So if anyone hasn't signed the Pulse petition, jump in and sign it. We need everyone's support. That is basically how Ripple won. They had 75,000 people submit an amicus brief. So I will put that in the chat, and if you do get time, just go and sign it if you can, because every little signature helps. So we went from what, a couple of hundred to 22,000 in a month.
Have I retweeted you yet, Sammy, on that?
Maybe not, but I've been doing it. So every few days I've been doing on Twitter, and I've also been going through Telegram, putting in all the groups.
Well done.
I feel really strongly about it because I think it's so important because we've seen what it can do.
Yeah, the guys who put that together, amazing job. I think that was Crypto Coffee and Kinetics. Oh,
yeah, it was.
What else this week? The bridge. There was the bridge to PulseChain, the website. That was taken down and replaced with links to IPFS and also downloadable software that you can run on your own PC.
Yeah, the Tang Gang have actually put up replacement sites for
I heard
the
you
HEX
say that
staking site and for the bridge. So you can go to hexoacoin.com / I think one of them's /staking, the other one's /bridge, but it's in the links under more. So if people want the easy version, I agree with 43 that like it's easy enough to just run it yourself. But if people like are being slack or whatever, obviously there's a trust element there that it's being run by someone other than Richard. But for my purpose, I trust that group, but you don't have to. If you don't trust them or you want the like ultimate solution, just do what 43 is saying and just run it on your own computer. It's not hard. It's not that hard. But if you're being slack, those links are there, which is pretty cool.
And has anyone got any theories as to why Richard Hart would take down the bridge and hex.com?
Legal.
Do you reckon it could be legal, or do you think he could be building?
I absolutely am convinced that would be the only reason to do it.
Reducing attack surface. That's all it is. Reducing attack surface.
Is it possible that he could be building stuff, and he needs to take down the sites to, like, just say he was building something?
Like what? Like what though? Like what would require just spin up a different domain? Like
okay,
what?
I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to try and create like a narrative of. I think it's very straightforward. At the moment, there's this legal thing going on. I think it's in like the.
Well, you just never know. I might have some inside jobs, but who am I? I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying where. I'm not saying anything. But how do we know Richard is not building something?
Sammy, whoever's pitching that idea, just tell them that they need to either give an example where that would make sense.
I'm not saying anything else. I just invented it. Okay, I invented it. I'm showing my
So, because that doesn't make any sense. You just spin up a different domain or a subdomain. You wouldn't take the bridge down.
Why would you have to take that down?
Why would you ever need to take down the previous infrastructure?
Well,
and if you were going to, you would do it literally you would like literally try and hot swap that shit. You wouldn't take it down like days or weeks in advance. You'd wait until that next thing's ready and then you'd swap them out.
Well, how come websites like banks go offline, and they say we'll be offline for
minutes, for minutes.
For hours.
No, but it depends what type of infrastructure upgrade they're doing. So sometimes if it impacts their back end, then that could be the reason why your banking shit is down for like extended periods. But in terms of the front
this
end,
back end doesn't go down. This
most
back end doesn't go down. Our
and this back end doesn't
blockchain,
go down.
our blockchain does not.
So you think it's my copium?
Well, whoever's feeding that line to you, I would tell them that that's nonsense. Like, as in that doesn't sound legit.
I think people are twiddling their thumbs too much, just coming up with like it's pretty obvious why all of this is the way it is. It's totally.
Legal.
It just means that anyone can. It's just a demonstration.
It's proof of decentralization.
You use it, and it's DeFi, and you don't need any one particular person there to host a website. It just proves the point that it's real DeFi.
Yeah.
You run your own.
It might even,
you run the
and it
code.
might even be running ahead of schedule, like as in, so this might be in a pre-protection for laws that haven't even been stated or even suggested yet. Ones that would be wholly ridiculous and very fightable, of that if there's a website involved, then it's like, but software on your computer, they can literally never censor that. They can never say you're not allowed to run software on your computer.
It has only been, I'm old enough to remember what it was like when all you did was run software on your computer. And in the last 10 years, we've got a generation of computer users that don't know anything apart from web-based dApps. And they get confused when they get confused when they realize you could actually run shit on your computer and communicate with servers elsewhere or servers elsewhere directly. You don't need to go through someone else's server and use their website or their hosted website. You can go directly to the source from your computer. That's the way shit was built back in the day. And that's what all this stuff is. It's better. It's better. It's more private. Yeah, you know how much more private it is for you to be running this shit on your own computer?
It's definitely better. So there was a debate I got told about where and so Bullish was telling me that there were actually reasonable points on both sides. I thought it would have just been crushing defeat on the side of it, but apparently both sides raised good points.
Which crushing defeat? Sorry. Which
I assumed it would be a crushing defeat for that it's better to keep it up. Like, well, wait, which side? I can't even remember. Now that I've had my worldview change and I've been given good arguments on both sides, I'm actually struggling a little bit to remember what side of this I was even on.
I think
maybe I was saying
both sides of it. Like as you,
they should have kept it up.
I see both sides, and
like as in whether it's better to take it down or to
look. It clearly it's nicer to just have everything hunky dory, like the way it's always been there. Like clearly that is from a marketing type perspective that is better, right? But does it really hurt for people to delve? I mean, they've already delved into crypto, right? You've already gone into this niche thing. So the people who are there ready to bridge or ready to do, they're already in this niche thing where they're using their self-hosted, in quotation marks, wallet. So they're already doing niche things that normal people wouldn't do. Is it that much harder for them just to do a little bit extra and learn? And then you learn?
I just remembered how I can say it without remembering it. I was on KDP's side in terms of, for that debate, whatever side she was on, that was the side that I was on. And I thought that was pretty obvious. I thought it would be pretty easy to win that side of the argument.
She was just like, it's an extra click. It's
was
like
she? So she was on the take it down side. She was on the better that it's down.
I don't know if the argument is better that it's down. I think it's just, look, under the circumstances, if it's down, it's not the end of the world. Like some people were making this argument that like, oh shit, like the heavens are going to fall in and all this shit. It's like, no, it's just, you just have to learn a different way. And it's not even a difficult thing to learn. You just click there's another link to click.
I didn't think it was a big deal. And then I got presented with like the other sides of the argument. Anyway, it ends up that like, it doesn't need to be an argument. I'm right, you're wrong. There's points, valid points in both directions.
Valid points on both sides. Look, I thought the most valid point that the other side had, Gold Keys side had, was that you don't want to get people used to strange domain like strings, URLs that they're going to with IPFS, because then that makes it more susceptible to being like scammed into clicking
harder for you to visually identify that you're at a scam link.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point.
So that I thought that was a really good point. So yeah, be careful, obviously.
And also now it opens the door to people doing human readable domains, but that are hosted by trusted parties. So like, for example, this Tangang one, where they're hosting the bridge and the staking platform, I can trust them because I interact with these guys on a daily basis, and maybe I shouldn't even do that. But other people that are not familiar with the Tangang, why should they be trusting a website that's hosted by this ragtag bunch of memers? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's amazing that the Tangang put it back up, and RH Maximalist also put, I know I believe Hex.com or the bridge up. But the thing is, I think, I mean, I'm not arguing anything, but I think it would have been better just to be left in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just easier.
Yep. I think it'll come back. But if you can go to the hexcrypto.com website, there's another staking website there. But like, do you guys remember when everyone was using BitTorrent? Everyone knew how to download a BitTorrent client. Everyone knew how to go look for torrents on those websites where you went and searched for the actual torrent to like load into the BitTorrent like client software. And everyone used to download music illegally, like fucking everyone, right? That's so much harder.
No
that
comment.
Shit is so much harder than running the Hex server.
Don't admit it, Kim.
It's so much harder. All that stuff was so much harder. So either like everyone using computers suddenly got fucking retarded and no one knows how to do shit anymore, and they're too scared to like click a couple of things. I don't know. I don't understand. Like, it's too hard. I don't get it. Everyone does things that are way more complicated in everyday computer use.
Sammy just reminded me of Kim.com tweeted out this video about this guy that did this like UFO analysis thing, and about the disappearing airplane that happened, the MH370 or whatever it was. And it's like, I watched it and it's actually pretty compelling.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's so compelling about it?
It's like, he reckons it was like this advanced military tech that made the plane like took the plane to like a different dimension or some shit.
Really?
Sounds ridiculous saying it out loud, but the
based on what?
But basically the evidence that he presents, because he's obviously one of these people that just became obsessed with the case of this disappearing plane, and never so he said, while most people, they come up with a theory and then they try and retrofit the evidence to that theory, and that's the way they conduct their investigation. He said that he can prove that he has never done that, and he's only ever taken the evidence and then tried to fit theories to the evidence, and that's why he's like completely changed his opinions on things throughout the investigation. And one of the things he says, which has been said by everyone, is like, the fact that there was no debris field was always like super weird, because every plane that crashes, whether it's on land or sea, always has a debris field, and they couldn't find it. And it's like, they've got satellites. So it's like, it's not really possible to not find it. It's not like we live in like fucking the 1800s or some shit. So, and then he just goes through all of this different military footage that leaked, and the guy that leaked the footage, or who he suspects leaked the footage, and it's just really compelling. I won't go into it in detail, but it's like really interesting. And there's this footage where there are basically like these 3 dots that are spinning around the plane, and then this zap goes off and the plane just disappears.
Really? And is this that Malaysian Airlines flight?
Yeah. The Malaysian Airlines flight that disappeared. He said he basically has the footage that was taken from a Navy spy plane and from 2 satellites. And basically goes through and explains how it would be very, very, very difficult for them to fake it from so many different angles. Like if you were to make one fake video.
So what happens? How many bright lights do you see?
Like, there are these 3 orbs that are rotating around the plane, and then suddenly there's this flash and it just disappears.
Wow.
And so his theory is that the plane had key assets on it, like people that they needed for like superconductor tech or some shit. And so they couldn't let these people die. And so they had the tech to go and save the plane. But they sent this tech. So it's not aliens in these orbs. It's like the military deployed this technology to save the plane and effectively like teleported it somewhere else so that those people would live. And yeah, I know it's like, it's pretty
sounds like such bullshit to me, man.
It sounds out there, but watch the video. You need to watch the video because I know that
need to
sounds
watch
crazy.
I'm sorry.
That sounds crazy, but
yeah, I don't need to watch that video.
All the evidence is stacks up and is very compelling.
What?
Goes through it in a lot of detail, man. Yeah.
You know what real evidence would be? Bring the orbs to my house and make it fucking take my trash can out onto the fucking curb for me, and I don't have to do it.
What?
Like that would be evidence. Like I would believe. So I need to see something myself.
About military tech that they're actively trying to not have the public know about. Why the fuck would they come around your house and demonstrate it to you?
Well, hey, listen to my story.
Wait a second. You just said like I'm telling you what real evidence would be. Whatever they're showing in the video is not evidence.
You haven't seen the video, bro.
I don't need to see it.
Also,
it can be fake.
Well, hey, it could be, all right? It could be real. It may not be real.
He goes through in the video. He goes through in the video and proves that it's not fake. Like that the video
evidence
is at least
beyond a reasonable doubt.
How can you prove a video?
Unless you're the Lord God, you won't know. Hey, listen, I went on a cruise last week, right? From Melbourne to Adelaide back, and it was good. It was a lot of fun. I got really sick and I had food poisoning and, blah, blah, blah. So I did a lot of sleeping and then I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning and we had a balcony. So outside, we're sailing along and I see these 4 lights on the water and they're not flying. They're just floating on the water, but they're the same space apart. And I'm sitting out there for 20, 30 minutes and they're all staying in the same position. And during the daytime, if you look when you're on a ship and you look at the land, after 10, 15 minutes, you will see that the land's dropping back from the ship, right? Because you're outpacing it. But these lights stayed in the same position for about 20, 30 minutes. They didn't float, they didn't move, they just stayed there. So I took some photos and a video and I put them in our chat. I don't know if you can show them, 43, but if you want to share them with the audience, you can. But one of them you can zoom in. It was just 4 of these.
I'm very limited in what I can do on this computer ever since I swapped over. If my other computer still had battery, I'd be able to do it.
You think it was a UFO sounding?
You can do it.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like I said, we had a butler and I showed him in the morning and I said, can you look at this? Look what I saw last night. And he had a look and he goes, I haven't seen anything like that.
Was it ocean side or land side?
Land side.
Land side.
Yeah, so if you look at the photos I put in our chat.
I agree with this guy.
If it was land, it's going to drop back. But these say if it was a boat, unless it was going the same pace as you, that's when it would have kept up. But have a look at the photos that I popped in our chat and you can. Because my phone's got night vision, so that's how I took the photos. But I put them in our chat, and you can have a look if you make them really big. But it's just unusual to see for things.
Yeah, really bright as well.
And they're really bright.
Normally, if you've got like boats or shit, like it's not normally that bright.
Yeah. So this last photo, if you blow it up, there's 4 things and they just look weird.
Are they? You think they're flying or floating?
They must be floating. Well, that's the horizon there. So see where there's like a line where you can see sort of the horizon between the water, and that would be the water line. So they're not floating; they're just sitting on the water. They're all in the same. They're all the same distance apart.
See, this is very much in line with why I believe very little of all of that sort of stuff. And I'm not saying that you know, I wasn't there. You saw it. You saw what you saw. You know what you saw. I don't.
Yeah.
But in general, like whenever anyone's talking about like UFO type stuff, it's always like everything's always blurry. Like you can't, like there's nothing is like you would have thought after all these years.
Dude, watch the video, man. It's like these videos are like super
nowadays,
clear that you see the orbs rotating around the plane and shit.
But nowadays, that shit is not impressive anymore because of all the like. Have you like you just have to go see a Marvel movie, and you know that all of that shit can be done.
No, he goes through about from all like how this stuff could not have been faked. So like the same ways that we put people in prison when the evidence is so compelling that it's beyond a reasonable doubt. Like, yes, anything's possible, but in this particular case, you do have a limit to where you're like, okay, this is beyond the point where I can just. It's too dismissive to just be like, oh no, I don't believe it. Like if it meets a certain standard,
the standard is that I've never seen anything else.
You can't say that without watching the actual video. Like, as in,
I can say it because I know anecdotally in my life. I've never seen a large object spontaneously disappear.
But these videos were like leaked by someone from the military. And the type of video was a type that no one knew that tech even existed in terms of that type of video. So someone trying to fake it wouldn't have even known what to make the fake look like. And it was done from 3 different angles, 2 satellites and from a spy plane. So it's like
very disappointing.
And for them to actually fake all 3 angles would just be nearly impossible. Plus the time frame they had to do it in was like 4 days.
All this talk of adversarial thinking for so many years.
You haven't seen the video, bro.
Have you heard of the Philadelphia?
Can I make a guarantee to you? I will watch the video. I guarantee you at the end of watching that video, nothing's going to change because you can push pixels in whichever way you want on a screen.
No, dude. Oh my God.
If you've ever heard of the Philadelphia experiment or the Project Blue Book, it basically says, and this was 10 more years ago, saying that the military do experiment and they've made things happen. So I wouldn't rule it out, but that's my opinion.
They've had experts go over these videos because they got leaked, and they've checked shit that's like beyond what you can fake easily in a short period of time. It's like they've checked frame rates and all sorts of shit. You need to see the video, like as in this is stuff.
Can you play it, Tangent? Can you play it?
No. It's like hours long. Like as in, he goes through all the evidence. Like
actual debris from that plane washed up on a beach, man.
Yeah, but only like a couple of sections.
There was some there was some crazy. He actually covers that 43, and he said that when the Wagner guy's private jet crashed into the fucking ocean, there was a debris field miles long that was picked up from satellites. And that plane was like fucking tiny compared to this. This was like a 777. So the debris field of fucking baggage and fucking plane bits and shit like that would have easily been able to be found with satellites. And it just never got found. So some crazy guy claiming that he found bits of a plane on some fucking beach is like not compelling to me.
In France, I remember.
So I don't get easily convinced because I've seen enough of those Illuminati videos, and I better than most understand logical flow. So like those videos where they're like, oh, this and this and this and this, I'm like fallacy. I'm just picking it the entire time where I'm just like, that's bullshit. That doesn't prove shit. I don't get easily convinced by things. It's kind of my thing, and this video was compelling. So. You would need to watch it to be able to say whether you think and point out where you think he was able to.
I will watch it.
The parts where he was wrong and shit.
Can I ask how long?
It's very long. I think it's like between 2 and 3 hours, maybe.
Oh fuck me!
Can you put it in our
Why
chat?
why don't you just watch it until you can identify, like, that you can state to me one logical flaw in what he's saying? Like, why don't you so that way you only have to watch it up until you can identify where the fucking trick is. And then according to you, you shouldn't be watching it for very long at all.
Okay, that's a good point. But I feel like if it's a video, you can just say, well, someone just made it. Right?
Made
So,
what?
hey,
Oh,
let's
dude.
get back to crypto.
Oh, bro. Yeah, we need to end this. I'm getting...
Hey, why is the price looking like shit?
What's that? Who wrote that?
Why is the price looking like shit?
Who wrote
What
that?
happened?
Which coin?
Like the whole of PulseChain, everything's down.
Yeah, PulseChain got a bit fucked. It still hasn't put in a lower low though, so we're good for now.
So what happened?
Hex is pretty. Hex is very wrecked. Hex is extremely wrecked.
Well, apparently it's making a healthy correction.
Is it?
Just saying.
I haven't looked.
Doge Elon.
We're okay unless Pulse makes a lower low locally.
But you know, with Hex, I know there's a whale that's still dumping. I think he's still got 45 million to go because Somi posted it today. I saw his post, but
man, I'm so sick of people dumping Hex.
Yeah, I know.
Is this one of the recent people that bought in large recently?
It could be Alex the Anus Ointment. That's what Somi calls him. Alex the Anus Ointment Whale. He keeps dumping his Hex. He bought like millions and millions.
So the dude that flexed his market buys on Maddie's stream or something is the guy that's dumping. I'm not surprised.
Well, if he did, he was all talk, no action. Now he's shitting his pants because he spent his lunch money and his rent money, so now he has to get it back. But you know, other prices are looking good. Like generally today we saw a bit of a letdown. I think it was with the Kraken news of all these coins coming out as securities. But you know, Bitcoin's been doing really well, and a few other coins been doing quite well too.
Oh, Hex on Pulse is under $1. Damn.
Is it?
It's a buying op, yo. Not financial advice.
The fucking Hex, the PulseChain Hex.
Yep.
What the fuck? That's wild. So let's take a look at PLS.
So just before we move on from that, where do I get that video? Will I just look it up on YouTube? It's a 3-hour video on YouTube.
I retweeted it from Kim.com. I'm sure I can find you the link.
I think
dude, I don't need you to watch it. Like, as in you, like, your attitude is so like not open-minded that it's like, and I actually don't care whether I can convince you or not. I'm just saying that I found it compelling, and that's quite rare for me. And my job is not to try to convince you that any part of this is legit. I just liked the guys. Like, it's quite rare that you get videos like that where the person is logical, scientific, and actually steps through the evidence, why it's legit, goes through all the people who have tried to debunk it, debunks the debunkers, steps through everything, and does it in a really compelling way. It doesn't mean that his narrative is true. It doesn't mean that any shit. It's just, I found it compelling. And so you can watch it if you want. Don't waste your time if you think that it's going to be a waste of your time. Like, do you know what I mean?
I'm just putting the link in the chat, everybody, and then everyone could watch it and come back at us.
Is this what are we talking about, Sammy?
The MH370X chatting and working on all evidence. That's the one, yeah?
Yeah, so Kim.com tweeted it, and I thought, what's this conspiracy theory shit? But because I respect his opinion, I gave it more time, and it ended up being really good.
Yeah, cool.
And his plea is to like Elon Musk and Rogan and shit to try and get awareness to that shit, so that we can figure out what happened. Yeah, so there was a low on the PulseChain chart that was like 543, and at the moment we have not gone below that.
That's good.
So I'm hopeful that we can.
But I think you just got to chill out and stop looking at the price. Like, I mean, I know I wanted to talk about it because I'm quite open and honest, and it is looking shit. And this is crypto. Sometimes you got to like look away, because it's not always rosy, and you can't just keep looking. One day you're going to turn around and that'll all be green. You're going to go, hell yeah, everything's going up.
Wasn't there something that was happening today with the SEC, like the SEC needing to do something, like needing to have served RH by today?
So it was today. They would have had to serve him.
They're just waking up.
papers.
They're just waking up in the US now.
And that was Monday.
On the 21st.
It was there Monday. That's what it was.
Was it there Monday? I thought it was the 24th.
Because me and Georgia went to the Lighthouse. This is Georgia Carrera on Twitter. So she holds the spaces called the Lighthouse on our time, Saturday and Sunday. She actually works in a court in America as an interpreter. And she was saying in her spaces that, and I know some others were saying that technically this phone call was for the judge and all parties to meet via phone call and establish why there is a court case, and if the reason for the court case is enough to actually go ahead, if there actually is a case. So the judge from there can either throw it out of court because it's not worthy of actually being a case, but all parties are supposed to present to submit their paperwork for whatever. So even though apparently they had a certain date, so the court has set a date, and even though that date has come where Richard Hart should have been served, and the news I'm getting off Twitter is that he hasn't been served, this doesn't mean they can't come back and reestablish different dates. So I'm hoping they don't. I hope it gets dismissed. But apparently it was
There's something
Monday.
on the 28th as well.
Apparently the meeting was to be set for the 28th, but he would have had to been served via yesterday Monday in the US. So that's the story, John Dory. So Georgia was saying she expects to hear some good news, and Georgia knows a lot more than I know. So I messaged her today. I said, Georgia, have we got any good news yet? And she said, I'm busy working on a case. I'll get back to you once I've got time to look into it. So I'm waiting on info too. But 22,000 signatures on the petition is a bloody great effort, everyone. And God bless you all. Richard Hart may be quiet, but he still needs us. And we need to do it for crypto, not just for the Richard Hart ecosystem.
Agreed.
Yep. And I think a lot of how all the code is set up, and we were talking about this earlier, how you can just go run it. I think that just strengthens the argument, I think, as well. I think it strengthens our side of the whole DeFi thing, how there's no entity. Like, how can there be an entity that's running shit if no one's needed? Everyone can just run code by themselves and interact with the blockchain. Like, you would think that if this ever makes its way into court, there will be a demonstration of that can be done without anyone helping. No managerial effort.
Yeah. It'd be nice if we could find out who the complaints were made by, the original complaint. Because, with the SEC, they get a percentage. If they win, they get a commission of that fine that party shall receive. So it'd be interesting who made the complaints, being if there was one or more people. And I believe we should have the right to know, as investors feeling so vulnerable and unprotected to what's happened. I would like to know where this came from, where it all started, and if they really do have a case, because there's so many of us who are in the same frame of mind as what the hell's going on here? What's happened here? Where's the miscarriage of justice? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to us as a community getting through this period so that we're not focused on, what this three-letter agency is going to say or do. I really do look forward to us just moving on from this path, and we can just focus on the crypto side. This is just it's like a thorn in our side, really.
But you know what? Other cryptos had it. Ripple had it, and now if they go ahead and do what they're doing with Kraken, with Cardano and even Sol and a few others, like they might miss out on the bull run too. It's not fair. True. I want a bull run, mate. That's what I want. I want number to go up.
Yeah, we're in it, as in we're at the start of the hyperbull.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm convinced that. So Bitcoin's actually still over 37K, but I'm convinced that from here, if we go up, it's bullish, and if we pull back, as long as it's not super deep, it's also bullish. So I wouldn't be concerned unless Bitcoin goes probably under like 34 or some shit. Anything up to that point is just a healthy pullback, and up is even more bullish. So the hyperbull will be like properly confirmed or sort of confirmed in the minds of bears and haters when people start trying to buy dips, but the dips don't come or they're not deep enough. So you effectively, like, people will be like, well, I'll just buy it on a dip, and then there's just not going to ever be a dip that's really substantial enough for them to feel like they're getting a good discount. And eventually they'll just have to FOMO in. So that's coming. That's coming. I think that's coming soon.
Oh, look, I know the bull run's coming. Did you see what I put in our chat the other day? There's nine or more ETFs waiting on the SEC's desk for approval. 9. And they're big boys. They're not just John's Milk Bar down the road. They're like $1 trillion asset management, like.
Yeah. They're serious financial players. Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying that they may not be, even approved till January. It's like SEC's got everyone by the balls. Like everyone is at the mercy of this organization. The Apnian, the ape man says there's 11 ETFs. Wow.
Yeah.
Have we had enough of these
concerned
agencies just running the show and governments just sitting back and letting these unelected bureaucrats dictate what law is and what isn't law? Are we sick of this yet?
We saw it coming.
I don't think anyone in crypto was ever like not sick of it, right? Like, as in, people would have been against that shit from the start.
I feel like it's ramped up significantly in the last year.
After SBF screwed everything over, that's when shit got real. That's when
in the last year, it's just gone berserk. Before that, or maybe that's just because we've only, like HEX and PulseChain have only sort of been in the picture. But in the last year, before that, it's like, but they weren't like stopping. Like, it's only in the last year, I feel like in the last year, where bank accounts are getting shut down and people are actually not able to, like, they're being punished. for lack of a better word, for being involved in crypto. That's what irks me. I don't give a fuck what they do, but when they don't let you move your own money to, to an exchange to buy crypto, and they're constantly fucking with these exchanges, it makes you question like what are the motives, and and there's a long list of potential motives.
Control.
Absolutely. So what else have you guys been up to? Tangent, you were talking that there's something about Pulse LN. You were saying something about Pulse LN. Is that something you want to mention?
So one silver lining or something that's good that came out of Richard taking the bridge thing down, or taking the bridge front end down, was it sort of got everyone to sort of like regroup and revisit some of these other bridging options. And people have been very, very, very impressed with Pulse LN. They've also got new bridging options, which includes Ethereum. So previously, the way they did it was if you were doing ETH, it was layer 2 ETH. So there was, I think, Optimism and Arbitrum were on there, but they didn't have native ETH. Now they've added native ETH. They've got other ones which are like pending that are going to be added soon, which include Monero and Ethereum Proof of Work. People have been incredibly happy with the tech support, including myself. One person, I won't name him, sent, and it wasn't me, by the way, someone in the Tang Gang, accidentally sent made the receival address their address rather than, so like his clipboard fucked up, and he thought that he had copied his address, but it was still their address that was the most recent thing on his clipboard. So it wasn't like a total rookie mistake. It was just a clipboard error on the computer, and but he didn't check it obviously, and sent the funds, bridged the funds to their address, and they've got 24-hour support, so they got that back for him immediately. But by the way, sometimes that shit might be not recoverable. Like if you send it accidentally to a dead address, they can't get it back for you. But in this particular case, it was recoverable, and they did it immediately. Another one. Sorry?
That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, it was an address they control, so they basically just went and accessed the account and took and sent him back the funds. What else? And then Change Now is obviously one option, and then there's another bridge that we were playing around with. Coast is actually really good as well. Even though that's not technically a bridge, it's still a bridge of sorts in the sense that it's a way to get economic energy out of PulseChain, or in and out of PulseChain. So that's pretty cool. So there's three options there that are active.
You know what I was really impressed was, I've been doing a bit of pancake swapping on Binance, and man, Portal X, I freaking was amazed at how efficient Portal X worked, swapping over chains from PulseChain to BS.
Have they got other chains that are not Binance? Because I don't use Binance anymore.
Yeah,
they do ETH and.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. They do like a whole heap. Let me get them up and have a look.
I think the last time I went to use them, all the paths that I needed were all changed now. And
oh, really?
So
but they do change now. They go through. They go through. Because I know when I swapped over, they used Change Now, but they've got.
It's just cheaper to use. It's just cheaper to use Change Now direct if the path that they're offering you is Change Now.
Yeah,
it's just
it
cheaper
looks like
they've
got heaps of chains.
Because they did used to have multiple routing options, and then that thing happened with multi-chain. Didn't multi-chain rug or something, and then that killed a lot of the paths that Portal X was using. So I think that's the history. I'm not 100% sure, but
well, it looks like they've got all of them here. Like I can't see like one that's missing. Like PulseChain, Ethereum, BNB, Arbitrum, Polygon, Avalanche, Phantom, Optimism, Algorand, Aptos, Astar, EVM, Aurora, Bitcoin.
But are those paths all just Change Now paths? Like as in
possibly.
So I don't count any of the ones which are changed now because you actually pay a premium to use Portal X.
Oh, yeah.
So you might as well just use Change Now directly.
Well, that's a good point. But I was pretty impressed.
Yep.
Have you guys ever noticed that sometimes these websites that do the aggregation, sometimes you get a better rate on those websites, and I'm not sure how or why that it works that way. Maybe they do volume, and because they do volume, they get like some sort of special rate. But I've noticed sometimes I'll go to these aggregator websites and it'll give me a rate, and then I'll say, oh, let me go check on the actual website that's offering it, and I'll go and plug it into the actual website, and it will give me a worse rate than if I just aggregator type website.
Did you see someone said don't? It's Tin Top. Hi, Tin Top.
Have you got an example, 43, of like? No, I don't need an example of the specific coins. Just an example of the two websites. Like
So the Zenify one, which is like this one that just collates the data, and you can that one, and then I believe I went to it was either, I get confused with these. It was either Change Now or Changely. It was one of the two that I went to, and and I thought, well, I'll get that same rate or better at Changely or Change Now, whichever one it was. And then I went there and it was worse.
That's weird. So so I see what you're saying. You're seeing the path that they're claiming that they're going to use, going to direct. Shop Hexaco has got a front end for Change Now, like a white labeled front end. And he explained a little bit about how these things work. And basically the way it works is they have a fee. So they've got their fee that they charge on their website. And then if you front end their shit, they split off part of their fee to you, and they also allow you to add on an additional fee, right? But you're not allowed to forego that minimum fee. So i.e. they don't want anyone being able to present their shit at a cheaper price, because then you'd be undercutting the original dudes, right? So he said, I just want to make it as inexpensive for the users.
Was that Changely or Change Now?
Change Now. So the same one that Portal X does, right? So there's a component to the fee that you're not allowed to not take. So with that amount, I think he does something charitable with it or something, like, because he effectively he wanted to make it as inexpensive as possible for users, but they wouldn't let him deduct the part of the fee that they were allocating to him. But then they allow you to actually, if you want, you can actually go even harder and add more fee, which is what Portal X and a few others have done. So effectively, my recommendation would be, if you're going to use Change Now and you want to support a hexagon, then the Shop Hexaco front end it's equally as cheap as using Change Now, but then part of the fees go to some charitable cause or something to help advertise Hex or some shit. I forget what he said.
Oh, that's cool. What did you say it was? ShopHexaco.now?
It's no Shop Hexaco dot something. Like I'll check. Yeah, shophexaco.com.
Speaking of domains, so on PulseChain, they've got the domains, haven't they? The PLS domain.
Which one? Sorry.
You know how you can get the PLS domains, like .pls?
Oh, those domain names. Naming like an ENS.
And I was thinking PLS is like short for please. And I was just wondering, like, what would be funny domain names
bitch.
Yeah,
bitch, please. But people might think that
bitch.please.
They've been actually quite good.
I guarantee you that's been taken.
They've been given out free. Well, it will be now. Like,
yeah.
But they've started giving out those domains to any known HEX or PulseChain influencer that had like a fairly modest number of followers or above. So
yeah, I got one.
So yeah, I've got one. I think I've got
I should have called mine Booty Hole.
I think mine's Tangent.pls.
Booty Hole Pulse.
What did
you get one? Did you get 143?
I remember that. I didn't get one. Like I didn't go for one.
You should have got one called a Booty Hole Pulse. Mine's Sammy Cheeky.pulse.
I think Sammy, when they were giving them away, you had to make it the same as your. Like I think the purpose of them doing those free giveaways was so that other people don't scam by misrepresenting a known community member. So I don't think they were like, you get a free one and you can just make it say whatever you want. The idea was to like earmark the ones that were known. So I think they would have wanted you to have like sammychica.pls and not what did you want? Booty butthole dot what?
Bootyhole.pls.
They're like $5. So if you really want butthole, please.
Mine was free.
You can like booty hole, please. You can go get it. It'll cost you $5.
I got boobs. It was free.
You got what?
I got boobs and mine was free.
Boob, please. Did you get boobs, please?
But someone was saying don't sleep on beetroot. Aren't they sugar beet? Isn't that staking protocol coming out soon?
They said they were going to launch some kind of update. They were going to release some kind of update, and I'm interested to see if they're going to turn the privacy back on. Because did you notice all the privacy was shut off?
No.
So the privacy bridge or whatever has been like inactive for a while now. And so hopefully with this release that they're doing, that's going to be back on because it's just more privacy options are better.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like, and by the way, this is not something that I've ever used, but I just came across it while I was watching a video, unstoppableswap.net. It's like an atomic swap between BTC and Monero. So that I just thought that I'd never heard of it. It's an atomic swap. It's software that you run on your own computer. Be careful though, because I've never used it. I don't know if it's good. It's open source software, but I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it works. You'd have to go find out.
What was it? Unstoppableswap.net. You could just ask AI, like, and just be like, "Yo, is this thing legit? Is the tech legit?"
Yeah, ask AI.
Now AI's got a lot better recently, like a lot better. Like you no longer, like with mine, you no longer need to tell it, like, "Hey, I want to make images," or "Hey, I want to use these plugins." Like you just ask it, and it just goes and does the right shit. So if you ask it to make an image, it makes an image. If you ask it something where it needs the internet, it'll go and do it. Like they've streamlined rather than you having to like.
Used it.
Sorry, who?
Base Radian. I've used Unstoppable. It's Boss. Most of it runs from a CLI, which is command line interface for those who are not familiar with that term.
So we've got new. By the way, yeah, cool.
Hey, can I, where this Friday, well, it's Friday in the US, Saturday in Australia, we're not doing Ladies Discourse on the Discourse Syndicate. We're actually doing a Spaces this Friday, so if anyone wants to join us, we'll be about Saturday around about 11 a.m. We're going to put it out there. Come and join in with us. Everyone's welcome to join in. But yeah, Ladies Discourse, we're doing something different. We're mixing it up because streaming gets a little bit boring, same thing. And we've been doing it for probably 2 years now, maybe even longer,
Yeah. Been doing that for ages, Sammy. It's been more than 2 years. I'm sure it's been more than 2
years. We've been more than 2 years. It's still a lot of fun. But want to switch.
We're only 15 episodes away from episode 200 of the HEX Late Show.
Fucking hell, really? That's crazy.
That's a lot of episodes.
And we're
dude, that's fucking crazy. That's almost 4 years.
Are you still doing spaces?
There was a
Sanja?
while there, Tangent, that we were doing 2 a weeks of the Hex Late Show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
We're doing Saturday nights.
Was that before I was involved?
No, you're involved. We're just doing Saturday nights as well.
Awesome.
I don't ever remember doing that. Oh, I mean,
I remember drinking on a Saturday night.
Oh, so obviously I never attended any of those because I was always out.
No, you're always partying.
So yeah, I honestly don't remember that even. I don't even remember you guys doing it.
It was usually Sammy and Blue Bomb that would turn up, and we would no shit talk about aliens for most of those Saturday night ones because we'd all be drinking. So we just end up talking about aliens.
Have a few beers.
Where was it? On the Westall extension?
The Westall. Yeah, in here in Melbourne. Did you end up watching the documentary, the Westall story?
No.
Amazing story.
I might have back in the day.
It's amazing. If you weren't a believer before you watched that doco, you are now. True?
I haven't seen it.
Really? You haven't seen it? I've got to send it to you.
What are we talking about? Sorry.
So
I'm fucking asking this AI about the atomic swaps.
Yeah. There's a GUI.
All right,
there's a GUI for unstoppable. There's a GUI.
In Victoria, in Melbourne, we have a suburb called Westall, and it's like a whoop whoop. Anyway, there was an incident in the 70s where a UFO came down to school, and the whole school of these primary school kids chased it, and they followed it down to this reserve, and then all this shit started to happen. The military trucks arrived. They told the teachers that they never saw anything. Some of the kids disappeared. But these people grew up and still in this documentary say, I remember exactly what I saw, and this is what I saw then. And I'm telling you, I'm an adult now, and this is what I saw. So they all testify they saw the same thing, and they drew drawings of it and everything. But yeah, it's really cool. I'll put it in our group chat.
Wild. The unfortunate thing is that like human memory is like super fallible, especially over like really long amounts of time, which is tragic because it makes it harder to like know for sure that we're putting the right people in jail and shit. But I guess if there's enough people that are all saying it.
This reminds me of something that Neil Tyson deGrasse has said. I've heard him speak on this very point, that in the court of law, the highest form of evidence is someone's sworn testimony. But in science, when you do the science and you test that, it's actually the worst. People's memory. It is the worst. And there's a clip on YouTube of him talking about this.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm definitely going to watch that doco though, just to see what's up, but like to see what they say. I mean, I remember some crazy shit from when I was a kid that I don't even know if it was real or not. Like, as in, but yeah, like nothing like real crap. Like, as in, don't get any fucking ideas like that's. But yeah, it's like it's pretty hard to know. Like, I'm just saying that from my own experience, if I had to like assess percentage likelihood that something that I remember, like my memory from back then is so like right on the fucking verge of like foggy dream shit that it's like, could I like hand on heart tell someone that definitely happened? Probably not, but it feels real. Like, as in, I'm sure enough that it did happen. Fortunately, none of these things are things which would like impact anyone else's like freedom or reputation or anything. But like, you're like, did that really, like, I'm pretty sure that happened. And you can talk to your friends about it and they remember it happening as well. But you can influence each other's memories. So like every time you guys meet up and say, remember that time when, you can be accidentally like inceptioning each other's memories and influencing each other's memories of the events. So, and then later you could just be remembering the time that you discussed remembering it and think that those are now facts that you've.
Like Chinese whispers, Tanya.
A little bit, yeah. Like it's kind of like, it's almost like, that's a really good example, like a really good analogy. It's almost like playing Chinese whispers with your past self, so that each time there are these small little changes that by the end of it, it's a completely different fucking thing, but you didn't notice the incremental change along the way. That's an amazing analogy for how it works. Like, obviously in a completely
do you think the best testimony in a court of law would be visual evidence?
Well, like videos until now that there's AI fakes, like deep fakes. Up until
true too.
Up until now,
that's true.
That video evidence is pretty compelling because it's difficult to fake, or it used to be difficult to fake that shit. And fuck, like I guess like expert testimony with evidence, where an expert can explain. Like, so that you take something like DNA and an expert explains why the DNA evidence. But now they're actually starting to say that DNA is actually not very accurate, that it only looks for like 3 or 5 different markers that out of like fucking hundreds or thousands. So like it might have been like real cutting edge tech for like back when it started getting used, but now it's actually pretty weak shit.
Sorry, what is weak shit? The DNA.
I don't know for sure, but I've been told that like DNA is not as good as that, because they always make it sound like DNA is like not able to get it wrong, like it's like 99.99999 or whatever, and apparently it's not good. Like it's not that good. But who knows? Experts in the DNA field, I guess. And then I guess there's like they can plant your shit, right? So it's like, my DNA was at the crime scene because you fucking put it there, you dog. Like, so like it doesn't, like, I don't know. It's I think it's fucked. So the whole thing's fucked. We just have to hope that like more often than not we get the shit right. Like I just hope. So yeah, I tried to force the AI to actually like review the code and shit, but it's reluctant to.
You might have to send it to a GitHub.
It like it knows where the code is, but it doesn't want to like run it or like whatever. But it's saying that if I provide the code to it, then it could maybe take a look or some shit. But I can't wait until this kind of thing is, the barrier of this is removed, where you can just ask a question and be like, hey, can you go and assess this tech, this unstoppable thing? Just go and assess the code and the way they're doing the atomic swaps. And rather than it saying, well, here's the GitHub, but I can't like run it or whatever, it just, because didn't some of these AIs start to have fucking virtual machines where they could run code locally? I don't know, dude. But anyway, it's saying that it's
obviously not going to be very far away. It's not going to be far away from you. It's not far away from you being able to say, hey, go transcribe this video and tell me if they talk about X, Y, and Z in this 3-hour video. And it will just go in, transcribe work out whether you talk about anything related to X, Y, and Z.
Oh man, imagine an AI fact checker that you could just give any YouTube link. Like we could put this stream in and just be like, go through and completely unbiased fact check everything that was said in this video, but completely unbiased, like so that it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like doing woke filters and shit. Just goes through and just looks at what was said. And then provides like source evidence, like source info related to those topics or whatever.
Go through. You tell the AI, go through this video, take out all the filler, and just give me like, just clip it up into one video of just the good shit.
I think that already exists. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Like
sure
AI
that tech,
will do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that tech exists. Yeah, you can give it a YouTube video and it goes and finds like the best shit and clips it into shorts that you can throw onto platforms that want short form content. That exists.
Okay.
Yeah. The one that I used, it wasn't very good, but it definitely did it. Like, and obviously, like we said, these things are getting better at a very fast pace. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to get better. Guys, we've been going for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Do you want to do some outros and maybe we wind it up? Unless you guys have something else you want to say.
No, I don't. This week didn't feel as like, so when I say this week, the week that passed since our last show didn't like lots of exciting shit happened related to the Tangang, but outside of that, because the Tangang is always exciting, the rest of crypto didn't feel exciting or like stressful or like kind of, you know what I mean? Like crypto just seemed a bit flat in the last week. So there's not really much to report. And I guess I guess maybe I'm getting adrenaline fatigue on how bullish I am. I've just been so bullish and I just get more and more bullish by the day and that hasn't stopped. So I guess
I've been the same, and I've been telling my wife, I've been like, I'm very, very bullish. I'm starting to, and this week the price has just been going down all week, and she's just been like, why are you so bullish? The price is just dumping, you know. Like, this is nothing. This is just a little hiccup to the downside.
There was a technical analyst that was basically looking at different coins and saying, if you assume that alts are going to run, like if Bitcoin chills for a bit, alts are almost certainly going to run hard, right? So altcoin enthusiasts should be cheering for Bitcoin to stay around this level, like within a couple of grand, I guess, of 37, and to allow there to be like a fucking alt run. And he made a comment that what you should be looking for are coins that, if everything tries to run in the alts, you want the ones that are going to be running from or through resistance levels, from or through major resistance levels. You don't want ones which are going to use that explosive up move to head up to a major resistance level, because then when the heat comes off and Bitcoin sucks the economic energy again as it goes for its run, the ones that are at resistance are obviously going to bleed hard. Whereas the ones that punch through will have the best chance of either forming that as a support or just continuing to run or staying static or whatever. So I thought that was quite an interesting, an interesting thesis for short-term plays throughout the alt markets. And I haven't actually gone and looked at many charts to go and see what would and wouldn't fall into that. One thing, I made a mental note that most Tangang coins are like at or near all-time highs, which would be in the category of like, yeah, that's dope. Like, because you're going to bust out into all-time highs and then it's just like sky's the limit. But other than that, I need to go and look at some charts to see what other coins might be positioned well for that idea.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah. We're definitely getting in that bull run crazy, time that's coming. I mean, for example, I bought some Avalanche a few weeks ago, just before I think BlackRock, the news about BlackRock came out, and like I've already 3x. Like it's like, hey, whoa, that's so cool. So I've been watching that shit, doing some pancake stuff, and I've still on my PulseChain stuff. And
why? Can I ask you why you are on Pancake Swap, please? Like,
Because I like
But
it,
so-
and I like the website. I like the way it's laid out.
Have
and
you
It's just a little
have
bit
you
of
looked at
fun.
9 mil? Like in terms of like their layout is at least as good in terms of like the UI.
No, but I like all the little
Yeah,
characters, and
9
you
mil's got
know.
gunshots. When you
Yeah,
change the
cute.
coin, it's like, phew, like so.
Oh,
So
nice.
because the reason I ask is because in my opinion, PulseChain obliterates Binance Chain, like in terms of for what I look for. So you've got just as much ability to degen trade, like to be a degen on PulseChain, if not more so. I think the risk reward is better. I think the fees are just as low, if not lower. The and it's supporting the ecosystem that I love. Like I've got like a large list of why I would degen on, and I'm sure the Tang Gang mostly agrees with me. In fact, I don't think we've got any BSC bros in the Tang Gang. We've got all sorts of multi-chain shit, but not BSC. But it's I just find it I'm curious as to why you would be degenning on BSC rather than on Pulse.
I just like the way it's set out. I like all the little characters, and it's just cute. I mean, I'm doing heaps of shit on Pulse. You know, I'm in the drip, the G-Gen protocol. And remember, I told you guys, I don't know if you were interested, because you know I'm a bit of a D-Gen. I'm everywhere. So the D-Gen protocol are bringing out NFTs that are basically going to be a stake of a validator node.
D-Gen
so you don't have to go. And David Feeder is actually involved. So David Feeder will be running the nodes. And so you'll be able to buy, I think the starting price will be 500,000 Pulse, and you'll get that stake of that validator. And the more that they get, the more people that are interested, the more validators they can get. So, I mean, obviously you get like 80% of the fees, and then David and the other team get the rest of 20%.
So is that a bit like liquid staking protocols? A little bit like Lido and Rocket Pool in that you're effectively buying.
I don't know what they are, but this is actually a stake in a node, a validator on PulseChain ran by David Feeder. So you got your stake here, but you don't have to do the work. It's like being a lazy housewife.
And the minimum size is 500,000 PLS. That's like the smallest. That's the
minimum.
Unit, which at the moment I think is only about like $30 or less. Like might be under $30. That's dope.
But then, you know, of course, 32 million Pulse would be a whole validator. But David Feeder's involved, and yeah, Ash, you're right. It's the GOAT. The DGen brought out the GOAT coin. That's them on PulseChain. But they're the first people doing this, and I'm really excited because I want to be a validator, but I don't have the technical knowledge. And I spoke to Jexa when I saw him in Sydney about this. If he goes, you know, you can run a validator, anyone can run one, but if shit hits the fan and you have to fix it, that's when you need that knowledge to know how to get back online and fix the problem.
That's an interesting point.
And me,
do you share in the risk of if the validator goes down or gets slashed or whatever? Like obviously.
No, so you don't have to do that. Like basically, because David Feeder is one of the best in the business. He knows more than anyone what he's doing.
Oh
right?
yeah, but theoretically,
so
theoretically, if something was to go wrong.
No, the risk with the validator that's involved is if your node doesn't get in the epoch, which is like getting actually used.
Yep.
It may earn no fees. So
over time it would have.
Over time it will. Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
Over time.
But they did a stream where they got the lowest. They found like they looked at all the validators and they averaged out the lowest earning one for the month. And they said, okay, let's pretend this is our validator and we earn this much for the month, and then you know, shared it around everyone. You know, well, we take 80% of that, and then 20% went to, you know, whoever, blah blah blah. But you know, you got that for life.
And so did they say what ROI was? Do you remember?
I think it was around about one was made maybe about 200,000, and that was the lowest. That
200,000 Pulse or percent Pulse
in a month.
200,000.
So that would have to go around
for the entire validator, or just for that smallest unit.
For that one validator node, but that was the lowest.
Okay.
Fees. We went up by the lowest one, right?
Oh, but this could get very small if it's like.
Yeah.
So 200,000 would be for, let's just say it's 30 days. All right.
Yeah.
So, and then we multiply that by 365, which is 2.4 million divided
That's
by
going to go around
32
everybody, Daddy.
million is a 7.6% return. And that's your very lowest.
Yeah, and don't forget, you've got that for life. You can be the lazy housewife, not have to cook and clean, and still get those rewards. And buying a validator
does that represent 8%? Sorry, 80% of the
I don't know,
earnings?
but let me come back with the maths, and then if you guys are interested, I'll share all my shit. But it's not coming out to December anyway, but it's something to get excited about.
If that represented only 80% of the earnings and there was still another 20% that they were earning, then that would represent a 9.5% return for the validators overall. If that's what's going on.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'll do some maths. Well, I'll get someone else to do the maths. I don't really like maths.
I'm getting, just on those numbers that you just said, I'm getting that would be like 75% ROI. Like APR, like
based on what?
Well, I just did 200,000 times 12 because it was 200,000 in a month. 12 months is 2.4 mil, and then it's 2.4 mil, and the investment, so to speak, is 32 mil. So that's quite good. Like that's twice the average of a HEX stake. And then obviously what you're really hoping is that PLS is also going up in that time period.
Like a 7.6.
So it's all magnified by, you're magnifying your gains.
It's 7.6%, yeah? 7.6%.
76%.
How? How is 2.4 million out of 32 million 76%?
Oh shit. I was doing 3.2 million. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. I was out by a factor of 10 on the. Sorry. Yeah. I had the wrong number of zeros on my on the validator amount.
Because that would be an amazing return for a Pulse validator.
Oh, so it's 7.5. Okay. Percent.
But with validators, right? Not that I run one, but I know people that do. But you might have a real shitty month, but then one day in a month you can do an amazing day and earn like a freaking jackpot. It just hits you. So also, that can happen too.
Oh yeah. That was that was like worst case scenario, so to speak. Like that was so. But
yeah.
Did they give something at the other end of the spectrum of how high it can be? Like did they say our best validator makes this much per month?
No, but it's all new.
That would be interesting to have that range.
I've heard people say like 11%, 12%. I've heard people throw those numbers around.
But I think you've got to be realistic. If it doesn't get used, your validator's useless, not going to make much money. And that's what they're being realistic. That's what I like about them. They're true degens.
I'm very interested in it. Like, and I would almost certainly participate. I would just want to know more details. Like do you get allocated to a specific validator, or does it get averaged across a group of validators that everyone is so that everyone that participates gets almost like then it's like a pooling type thing, or whether it's like no, your shit is this, you are basically buying a share in this validator, and if this validator does well, you do well, if it does poorly, you do poorly, that kind of thing. I would just want to know a little bit more about those details.
At the start it'll be like
it would have to be
like
could be either
who first said, but I asked the same question, but I don't.
And also, is it trustless? Like, as in, or is it? Are they having to like manually allocate those rewards,
NFT,
or or it's some kind of like trustless system, which would be cool. Just out of curiosity, like, as in, I think
good questions, man.
If the tech exists to do it trustlessly, would be pretty cool.
I'm pretty sure they'll ask the same question. I'm pretty sure you can go into different validators. You don't just go in one pool. And you should be able to sell them as well. If you want to sell your validator share as an NFT, you should be able to sell that as well. And I met, Crypto Sheep.
Oh yeah, it's liquid. Like you can sell the.
Yeah, you can sell it. You're not stuck with it.
So effectively, this falls under liquid staking, like that you're
Yeah.
effectively you're staked, but you have a liquid representation of what you have staked.
Yeah, that's right. But you know, I met Crypto Black Sheep in Vegas when I went over there for the conference last year, and he's really cool, and he's part of the DGM protocol, and he's really nice guy to talk to. But I'll get in his ear because they know there's a whole team. They know more than me. They just bought out a stream. I might even post a stream in our chat, and then you guys can listen to them talk.
Yeah, sick. Sammy, I think your outro was better than the whole rest of the show.
Oh,
So
you're too sweet, Dan. I
that's
love
what-
you. And that's why you're such a sweetheart.
I think I agree.
Except actually,
Yeah, I
except for
agree.
Day 43's videos at the start, they were also very good.
They were really good.
Particularly that Riblier intro as well. I caught that, even though I wasn't in the green room yet. Was also awesome. So
Did you see
strong
that, Sammy?
start, strong finish, which is what you want, right? We call that Easter eggs. So, well, the end one. So yeah, cheers for coming, everyone. I did try to scan the chat while Sammy was doing her outro, just to see if there were any comments in here that needed to be addressed. But it's mainly just people getting all excited and you know, it's just a bunch of like emojis and LFGs, pretty much. So thanks everyone for coming, and
Thanks everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Big thank you to everyone in the chat. Yeah. I'll see Sammy. I'll see you next week. Tangent. I'll see you next week.
Cool.
Thanks for coming along.
Indeed.
See ya, bro.
End stream.